past 12 hours specifically have been insane. The weekend was lackluster, to say the least. But we've had the S&P closing above $6,600, which is a new all-time high for the first time ever, above $6,000. We've had gold also hitting new all-time highs. But ahead of the FOMC meeting this upcoming Wednesday with Jerome Powell and them, we have a feeling, 90% chance, I believe, on the poly market that we're going to have a 25 basis point cut and less than 10%, which is also decreasing, that we're going to have a 50 basis point cut. So, unless something crazy should happen, we have 50 basis points. Let's just say that we might not necessarily go to the moon like we think we are at the time. That being said, remember, none of what I say financial advice, your own research. The past 6-7 hours have been confusing, to say the least. We've seen everybody being like, yeah, we're gonna go to Valhalla, which S&P 500 and gold is, but cryptocurrency has not been. We all thought we were gonna see like this huge major sell the news, buy the news, buy the news leading up to, sell the news on the day of the FOMC or like during the FOMC or the Wednesday night. However, what we've seen instead is that looks like the Tim Warren, shout out to him, his channel, they always talk about the composite man. It seems like whatever the crowd is saying on Twitter, Rock, which is, by the way, the #1 place for crypto news and Twitter trends, crypto trends, whatever you want to. And the Google Trends is great, but reality, people that are active in the crypto space and have blue check marks and that are really influencers in this space, to give people an idea of what to do, buy, sell, etc., you can find them on Twitter. Even if you go on to Google, the best they're going to do is send you to YouTube, which is their channel, or suggest things from the Twitter space, which is where most people are. Good afternoon, Harjeet. We are, by the way, I like that you said straight out of Mars, because in the galaxy chilling. Well, that's how it feels like in the crypto space, by the way. So I'm a crypto bro, and I do crypto content. So welcome. So I'm just talking about the FOMC meeting this upcoming Wednesday, and how a lot of us thought that we were going to actually see a rip in the markets, the crypto markets. We saw the rip. Hey, welcome to everybody coming in. We saw the rip again. S&P 500 hit new all-time highs, above $6,000 for the first time ever. Gold hit a new all-time high, and I believe that Alphabet, which owns Google and YouTube, also hit a new all-time high. I believe it was 3 trillion for the first time ever. So one thing that we're not seeing is that we're not seeing the markets in crypto rip like we were promised, right? We're not seeing that 3 days up until FOMC meeting. Let's go up, let's go up, let's go up, let's go up. I can't rap, Brooke. All I can do is talk about crypto. So we also saw a lot of institutions this morning, right? We saw Michael Saylor do his weekly buy of Bitcoin. We saw Tom Lee showing Ethereum, his bags buying. We also saw, I forgot the name of the companies, but Soul Strategies got listed in the stock market on Friday, which their whole thing is that they're basically like the strategy for Solana. We saw Solana go crazy on Thursday, Friday last week. So we were all expecting, okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, markets go to Valhalla for crypto. And then we're going on Wednesday, which again, we have not seen. All we're seeing is a kangaroo market, like this title suggests. The composite man, like I was saying with regards to Tim Warren. Shout outs to him, great channel again. He believes that whatever the crowd believes on Twitter, if we think we're going to go up, the institutions, they're going to sell to fake us out. If markets are going down, institutions are going to pump that we missed the boat and that prices are too expensive. So what I ask to my team, myself, and everybody that I work with and talk to is, when we're in situations like this, where we don't know what to do, there's no clear market signal for the next 12 to 36 hours, 12, 24, 36 hours, whatever we like to call it, until the FOMC meeting. But we are assured, live, so anything can happen, in the background, we are assured that there will be a cut of some sort. Looks, again, more like 25 basis point. We could just do nothing. We could just not buy, hold, sell, not long, not short, and do nothing. Even the best, most experienced traders right now, the top are sitting on the sideline. And if they are, this is not financial advice, I gotta do this for you guys. Whoever's watching right now, you get to be an alpha. If they are selling, or they're long, if they're long or shorting, and they're expecting to lose some money, guess what they're doing? They're writing that off. They're basically saying, I'll take the hit. I'm not gonna invest everything, maybe like 2-3% of my bag. I'll take the hit, and if I lose some money, I'll use it for tax purposes, and or I'll regain it somehow, or I made money somewhere else. So this is just house money. But the FOMC meeting, I believe that is very important because this is the first FOMC meeting of the year under Trump, under the crypto president, that we actually have a cut of some sort. And finally, we have monetary easing. In my opinion, we should have had that begin in July, but better late than never. As many of you remember, FOMC did not cut in July, and like 2 days later, we found out the job market's a lot worse than any of us thought. And I think Jerome Powell might have regretted that because he did say at Jackson Hole that they got to start looking at jobs, not so much inflation. And they want to bring their inflation target to 2%, but realistically speaking, it looks like it's not going to happen. It looks like the new 2% for inflation is 3%. We're going to have to live with this new system, right? It happens to everybody. And it happens to every single fiat money currency in history. That's why gold has been like the standard for centuries, not millennia, right? Because one little nugget of gold will buy you the same thing today that I bought you 10 years ago, the same amount that I bought you 100 years ago, that I bought you 1,000 years ago in the Roman Empire. And sadly, fiat currency, long-term, all fiat currencies go to zero. And at the end of the day, we can always discover more gold. We can discover more Bitcoin, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about the kangaroo market. That being said, where was I? Oh yeah, the kangaroo market. We're the next couple, so the monetary easing, we're going to create more money, right? It's bad again for us, for general people, the population, but it's good for us because we have assets. If you have assets, blah blah blah, it goes higher. So we have finally started monetary easing, which we have not seen under Trump. All we've seen is monetary tightening or holding one position. Now we're going to start seeing the Fed catch up to the rest of the central banks in the world, start to print more money. Every other country in the world has done it except for us. Also, this week we have the U.S. retail sales tomorrow, which we'll see if people like retail sales are this strong. Are Americans buying products, or are they holding money because they don't have confidence in the future? Wednesday is going to be our FOMC meeting. And then Thursday, Friday, I forget in which order, but we're going to see England and Japan, which are also two major economies, right? Those are two central banks which control a lot of liquidity. I believe that this is the start. And remember, there's always a lag effect. For everything in the world, there's a lag effect. So, howdy. If we start monetary easing on Wednesday, as is suspected, we might not see the effect for the next 15, 20 days. Of course, we're going to have institutions front run. They've been front running everything. But I'm talking about retail, like the general population. They might not actually get into the market until like 30 days from now, from Wednesday. Then we're going to cut again in October, most likely, because we need the money. And also, it's the holiday season. Remember that this is all planned. This is the holiday season. If they're going to do anything crazy and raise interest rates, which I don't think they're going to do, I'll explain in a second, they're going to do that shit after the holiday season in the U.S. so people can have good holidays and people aren't angry and there's no revolutions, bitch. I'm not for YouTube, I'm just saying, I'm not instigating a revolution or anything. But we're going to see a cut in interest rates at FOMC meeting this Wednesday, September. We're going to see one in October. We're going to see, there's no one in November. There's one in December. So we're going to see September, October, December. I believe there's one in January, and there's another one in March. I think they skipped February. It's like 28 days, whatever, short month. But after that, we're going to see a fifth one, I think in April, May, whenever that is. So I do believe, and also, Jerome Powell is going to be gone, and Trump's going to replace everybody on that board with people that want to cut rates because they know this. I think this is what I think is going to happen with President Trump. I think that he knows that the U.S. dollars is numbered. He wants to make sure that we can extend it with stable tokens. And we can also have supremacy with regards to like trading in Bitcoin, kind of like what we're doing in El Salvador, or what they're doing rather, where they're basically saying, listen, fuck this shit. We're all going to use Bitcoin for commerce amongst each other. And because we know that the U.S. dollar isn't going to last forever, and this is a much stronger currency than the U.S. dollar in the long term, right? Obviously, if you want to give your kids inheritance, you want to give them obviously assets, real estate. But what do you want to give your kids? $1 million in U.S. dollars or fiat currency? So you want to give them $1 million worth of Bitcoin, which should be worth a lot more when the money debasement continues. Who knows? When Bitcoin's worth $100,000 today, that Bitcoin, if you give it to your grandchildren 50 years from now, worth like, I don't know, 30, $100 million, while the U.S. dollar is going down, assets go up. That being said, been with y'all. Have a week. Make the videos. I'll keep making videos and keep going live upwards and onwards.